Boom, 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 boom. Doodly 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 doodly.
Is everybody set? Everybody's ready?
Yeah, I think I'm good. Are you good?
You good?
I'm good. Josh is good. Loy is good. Loy is giving us a thumbs up.
I'm always good.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is another episode of Will and Mike Explain the Movieverse.
And luckily for us, today we have some super awesome special guests, including a pizza man.
The pizza man is here. It might take us a second to get through this. Will has the cash.
I've always
He's
got the
pizza.
Except for when I don't. Then I just don't. I'll try and pretend I do, but I don't.
If we had cash, then we probably wouldn't be doing this on a single mic on my laptop.
Dang straight.
Hey, but at least we can still afford pizza, so
Yeah.
that's the fuel that feeds this podcast.
And the fuel that feeds my car, because my car is a bicycle.
That's true, huh? Anyway, here we are for this episode. We wanted to bring you a little movie called Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and one of the special guests that we have here today is Josh Johnson.
How's it going, podcast?
You might remember him from our Hook podcast a million years ago.
Yeah, that did seem like a million years ago.
I know, right?
By the time it's uploaded, it's going to be a day ago.
Everything is still coming together. It will all coalesce into a finely tuned machine.
And, go ahead.
As far as you guys know, I've been here the whole time.
He's just been very quiet. Along with Josh, we also have my roommate and one of my best friends, Crystal Loya.
Hi.
She doesn't
Hi,
have
Loya.
much to say. She's just going to sit there and be pretty. She's going to be the eye candy for the podcast. Right beside my beautiful, daunting wife, Mallory.
Who may or may not be popping in and out.
And her best friend, Samantha. Say hi.
She says, hey.
If you didn't hear it. She's kind of got a tiny voice. Alright, so while we eat some pizza and watch this movie...
And drink some Mountain Dew provided by Josh. Thank you very much.
My koozie is green, so I will pretend that it is Mountain Dew, quote unquote. We're sitting here at the title menu. I've got Scott Pilgrim vs. the World on Blu-ray, and one of the promotions on the beginning of it is A Million Ways to Die in the West. Which, if you've seen it, you probably shouldn't have.
It has its moments, but not nearly enough of them to warrant actively seeking out to watch.
Yeah, like the only thing that I take away from that movie is somebody always dies at the fair.
Yeah.
Whether it's getting stuck on the zipper or that ring of fire thing, you know, the thing that they have at the carnivals all the time. It's like this rickety old piece of crap circle that the thing goes around and around in.
I actually like the bit where they talk about how, look at these people. They're actually smiling in this picture. They look like they're insane or something. Why would you smile for a picture?
Who the heck smiles in a picture?
Well, here we are about to start, not A Million Ways to Die in the West, but Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. So if you're following along with us at home, we are just about to start the DVD the Blu-ray. We're going really fancy with this one. So in just a moment, we'll see the Universal logo pop up that is in classic 8-bit style.
Yeah.
Which reflects just about everything you need to know about this movie.
I'll go ahead and pause it right as we hit that point. That way you can sync up.
So the one of the things I loved about this movie was I think it perfectly captures exactly how I've always seen the world through my own eyes. And all the little video game things and the music cues that pop in and out from Zelda and sound effects from Sonic the Hedgehog and different things like that.
All of the classics.
This is honestly exactly what everything sounds like and looks like from my head. So
Pretty much the non-stop action, I guess.
Yeah.
that as well. If for no other reason, somewhere in the back of my brain, that's how I wish things would turn out when you have certain confrontations with certain people. But
Yes.
Alright, so we are at 1 second, and we're about to hit play. In 3, 2, 1.
play. And there it is, the BitTunes Universal fanfare.
Well, I remember when I first watched this movie, it was actually recommended by Mike that I watch it. And this had to have been about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And when I was first starting to watch this, me and my wife watched it. We were just kind of watching it and waiting for it to get going. And it was kind of boring. And then all of a sudden, it just like bam, knocks you right into it.
Oh yeah, you jump right in, and the movie never quits. We were talking right before the podcast, Josh,
Top
about
5, yeah.
yeah, like that's one of the reasons we love this movie. Is it just from the get go? There's always something happening. The pacing on it is amazing, and yet it still follows. You know, it still makes sense. So,
And each character has its own trait, like in their whole group of friends, and I think it's really good the dynamic the whole group brings to Scott's story.
well, everyone has their own superpower in this movie too, for the most part. Like Scott, it turns out, like his main superpower is that he's really, really good at fighting. But you know, he also kind of has a superpower of being sort of a selfish jerk without meaning to. There's another guy in this movie. We'll run into him later, whose superpower is that he knows everybody. He knows everything about everybody, and he instantly, even with a bad drawing, knows exactly who Scott Pilgrim is talking about and everything about her, and you know, he's already in the know about everything and everyone. So, you know, as we go through the movie, I'll try to point out some of their superpowers. But I think the first time I had heard about this movie was my brother showed me the trailer, and then he hooked me up with the comic books, and the comic book. The movie follows it pretty closely all the way to a certain point, and then it kind of starts diverging because the movie actually started getting made before the comic book was over.
You
But
know,
it also had the input of the creator, so...
I'm super happy you're here, Mike, to give us the comic book standpoint of this movie, because I just really like this movie.
I've always wanted to pick up the series. It's just about the money.
But the comic book works in its own way, but this is a movie, like, it's a perfectly made movie, you know, for being based on a comic book. Like, it reflects the comic book in ways that even the Marvel Cinematic Universe doesn't reflect its own comics, and you know, as well as this one does. You know, the comics is based on the indie comics.
And I just have to point out, for how rugged their equipment looks, they get some amazing sound out of it.
Right?
Must be the acoustics in that house or something.
I don't know if it's another one of somebody's superpowers, just to make crappy equipment sound good.
Maybe that's why they keep young Neil around, is so that he can provide those kind of acoustics.
Maybe
But-
that's his superpower.
How did you hear about this movie, Josh, a long time ago?
Well, it was a while ago. About 4 years ago, I would say. My friend suggested it to me. He had it on his desktop. Just started watching it, and I couldn't stop as soon as I got to pretty much this point right here. I knew it would just be amazing.
It just draws you in. And I think at this point you're either on board or you're not, you know? You either kind of get it or you don't. You connect with the movie, or you think it's the weirdest thing in the whole world. I was just watching this with my girlfriend recently, and she was like, "Is this one of those movies that you're supposed to watch on acid?" And I'm like, "No, but it might help."
No. This is life right here.
So
Yeah, honestly.
who was that? It was like Kira Culkin or whatnot? Any
Yeah,
relation?
one of the Culkin brothers. Yeah, he's Macaulay Culkin's younger brother.
He's his roommate. Right?
Yeah, Wallace.
Okay, you can really
Wallace
see
is a great character in this because he's practically the Obi-Wan Kenobi to Scott Pilgrim's Luke Skywalker. Like he acts as his guide. He gives him all the advice that he has, and he's kind of the worldly wise man in this show. You know?
Even if it's drunk and saying one word, and that spurs the whole whole comic book video game scenario.
Sequences and stuff. Yeah. Sometimes that's all you need is one wise word to help you know what to do. As a friend.
This is why I love sitting in these, you guys. You know, you learn something new that you never thought would be possible.
And we haven't even gotten past the credits.
I know.
Can I say something?
No. Yes, of course, babe.
Mike forgot about the most important superpower in the whole movie.
Which one?
The vegan!
Oh, we were gonna get to that as soon as that part comes up.
Oh, were we?
Oh yeah.
We've got
The movie just started.
But yeah, so the credits are totally crazy and probably seizure-inducing if you're not prepared for it.
I think it was originally created by Dazzler from the Marvel Universe. They just kind of played, and she threw up her little sound-bending auras into lights and everything.
That is probably a pretty decent representation of what her stuff would look like. I love Knives right here. You're not sure what she's thinking, but I think she reflects what we're all thinking watching this movie. We're not sure what to think at first,
Yeah.
but then we just go, amazing.
And these guys definitely make me want to cut my hair and dye it blue. So
Some of my favorite lines of all time come from this movie, and like that'll point out like where Kim tells Scott, if your life had a face, I would punch it. Stuff like that. I still say a lot of those all the time.
and then it would become like booze, and it would just like sink into the center, because that's the whole like type of fighting style in this movie, where it's kind of not your typical fighting game where different things will happen.
It's all very Marvel vs. Capcom, where everyone has weird powers. They all jump really high, and there's speed lines all over the place that are all anime style.
And you had to hit 30 buttons just to do one move.
Yeah.
Combination.
Oh yeah, there's this movie's lousy with combos. It's awesome. Love how everything in the apartment is his roommates and not his, and only a couple of crappy things are Scott's.
And they sleep in the same bed, which is the best part.
He sleeps in the same bed with his gay roommate. It's awesome.
17 years old.
Oh, and his sister is played by Anna Kendrick from Pitch Perfect, and yeah, thank you, Josh.
You're welcome.
You got a nasty cough there?
Yeah. Totally hot.
But I'm willing to admit that she is definitely one of my celebrity crushes.
How do you think she would be as Miss Marvel? She'd have to get a little beefy to do that, but...
That might work. I don't know, I'm still rooting for Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
By the time this podcast goes up, we'll probably know exactly who it's going to be. But anyway.
You guys are months behind.
Right.
Kind of. I always wanted to have a couple of them ready to roll, as in, before we actually put up a website. So
it's always fun to binge listen to things. It's kind of like when you get Netflix and you get that series that you just love to sit around and watch for hours.
Oh yeah, totally. That's actually how I always find all my favorite podcasts, is by downloading a dozen of them and getting addicted.
I do marathons all the time. They're called on Netflix.
Yeah. Turn into a Netflix zombie.
It's considered a marathon if I'm at least moving my feet a little bit, right?
Well, so one of the fun things about this movie and the coming of age stuff part of it is that it reflects a lot of the relationships that we've all, for the most part at this point in our lives, been in. Right now he's in a relationship with Knives where he's, unfortunately kind of using her to get over his last relationship, his big breakup, his super evil ex that, totally just punched his heart to the moon and he's never been able to get over. Mm-hmm. So, and it's sad for her because she's super innocent, never even had a boyfriend before. So she ends up, feeling used and being used essentially by the hero, who, that's part of his arc through the whole movie, is learning to overcome, being a dick for the most part. He doesn't mean to be. He doesn't quite realize what he does. Because all the time he's always he even points at Kim, who was his girlfriend in high school, the redhead. And he's always saying oh yeah, Kim and I are good. But you see the way she looks at him. It's yeah, they're not good. She's still got beef with him.
I think that, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I love this video game, which was real.
Yeah, it's better than Dance Dance Revolution because there's ninjas.
Right? Ninjas make everything better.
Dance Dance Revolution's pretty awesome.
I suck at that game.
But how much better would it be with ninjas, Josh? How much better?
Like a million. It's not impossible, but yes.
Well, it's funny how here, they're really into each other and they're talking about all kinds of mundane things like we all do in a relationship. But then later when he's kind of found the one, and he's, not so into her anymore. He doesn't really listen to all the weird things that she's talking about, like yearbook class and stuff. And it's really sad. I mean, as much as his heart is broken and he's using her to get over it, he breaks her heart almost as bad, Uh-huh. But then, by the end, we'll see where Knives is at and talk about that a little bit, because it's pretty cool, the journey she goes on too. Oh, and her superpower is apparently working a million jobs. Because she literally works every place that they go to. She never sleeps. Yeah, she's one of those people. I think we've all known people like that. I've noticed a lot of the people from Pingree, from the school that we work at, work at Super Target now and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really weird. I keep running into people there who work there now.
My wife's one of those people that can work all day and do school and everything else underneath the sun and still keep going at the end of the day.
She is kind of a superhero.
I can eat fire.
I just saw
literally,
the lighter.
She can literally eat fire.
I've done the fire dance.
Oh really? The Poi or whatever?
Eating, yeah.
I think we know what's going up on our videos once we get a website going.
Could you show Knives a thing or two?
Imagine so.
Can you show us a thing or two with knives? That'd be pretty cool.
I wouldn't mind.
I don't
He gives
mean
you
the
permission.
knives. I mean that knives.
I want an X-Men X on my coat sewn in.
Right?
Like Scott has. Scott, one of the things that I'm probably going to throw out a bunch of stuff that I learned from watching the commentary a bunch of years ago when this first came out, but Scott, there's not only all the X's that are symbolism in this movie, but all the X's are always numbered in certain ways, in different, you see it on their bodies all the time, especially the vegan one, because he has the big number 3 on there, and he's the 3rd one.
Yeah.
But Scott, you notice a bunch of things where he's 0. So he drinks Coke Zeros all the time, and there's a bunch of other
0 around
things.
the X.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's more than just the X-Men symbol. It's referring to the X's, and he's like the lowest common denominator, if you would. He is the zero.
I love this where this other Scott pops up on the other side of Wallace. They've got 3 people in the bed.
What is it, other Scott?
Yeah, and he's actually known as Other Scott. And he's Wallace's official boyfriend, even though Wallace keeps hooking up with other people. And he's like, hey, double standard! Look, I didn't write the gay rule book, alright? Take it up with Liberace's ghost. So, I like the idea that one of Ramona's superpowers is that she can travel through subspace.
Yeah.
And one of the ways that she gets around is going through a subspace shortcut through Scott's dreams. But I think it's weird that like nobody really thinks that it's weird that all these people have superpowers, and the movie kind of gets away with it just by saying that Canada is a mysterious land where if everyone kind of just does that, it's not weird, you know.
Those crazy
Canada's a magical place, yeah.
They're all experiments from the Weapon Plus program.
Or knives.
As we know from Marvel Comics, Canada actually is pretty evil and does nothing but experiment and do all kinds of shady, horrible things and stuff like that.
It's like the Russia to America.
Yeah, basically. We've all been looking. They just use Russia as a distraction. They're the real ones we got to worry about.
Do you think Ramona almost has like this pheromone to her because once like Scott's around, he's just like transfixed on her and nothing else?
Well,
doesn't matter what gets in his way.
There is that, and the fact that she has all those evil exes who band together, you know, with kind of partly their hate for her and also their common the common thread that they share of having that relationship, you know, with her, and how much she dumped each and every one of them. So, you know, they've all had their heart broken by her. But yeah, I don't know, like, I think they all band together in that way of, like, if we can't have her, no one can. And that's why they keep on taking out all these, you know, every new boyfriend that she has. Now, they, you know, because Gideon is he's the most evil one of them, and he bands them all together and creates that league of evil exes that come after Scott, so... Oh, yeah, right there. The fact
Ramona
that I mean, look at that scribble. And he's like, yes, that's Ramona Flowers.
That is an awesome ability.
Yeah, this guy just knows everybody.
Apparently
Disappears.
Yes.
I think we've all accidentally been a creeper like this at a party to someone that we saw.
Accidentally. What?
Yeah, it was an accident, right,
That
John?
was totally an accident. Oh, I didn't see you were here.
Technically, that's my superpower.
What, you posted this on your Facebook?
Isn't that how you and Mallory got together, essentially?
Yeah.
And you creep on her at a party or something like that? You guys started hanging out?
No, that was all her.
I creeped
Oh,
on
you were
her.
creeping on him?
She
That's
was the
right.
creeper. I remember it.
That's right.
Yeah,
I
remember that too.
I remember that day. So I went to the Home Depot and some chick came up to me and said, "Hi, Will, how are you?" And I had no idea who she was. Hey, that's your wife.
This whole story that he talks about with Pac-Man being Puck-Man is totally true.
It is true.
And then they were afraid to call it Puck-Man because they were afraid that people would scribble out part of the P, so it would look like a totally different thing, so they called it Pac-Man instead. Everything he says. What's with the light switch way up in the corner?
Right?
It's like at the top of a door frame. I mean, it's clearly... Anyway. That's
They're at
what
a
it
giant's house right now.
It's Canada.
Yeah, that's just a Canadian thing, sure.
It helps
Yeah.
with keeping your knees nice and healthy, because you have to jump every time to turn on and off the light switch.
Alright, I was never this creepy.
No, she's not.
There's a guy at work I work with named Nick, and I always call him Young Nick because he reminds me exactly of him.
American.
From no, I won't even get to the end part
Oh,
yet.
one thing this movie does really good with the comics, too, is that pretty much all these people, somehow they were able to find real-life people who look almost just like this guy's cartoons. Like the comic book. Yeah, they did a really good job of that. Especially with the glasses and the shape of glasses and everything. And even her, like, somehow she even has the same look as the comic book character and everything.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
What's her real name, babe?
She's on Community, right?
Aubrey Plaza?
Aubrey Plaza.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
Parks and Recreation, too.
Yeah, that's it.
And she
I think
basically plays the same character but with glasses in this.
She's kind of made a
also-
career of playing this person.
She did a live version of Daria.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
It was fun.
Who
Was
played
it just
Jane
a one
again?
shot or?
It
Typecast?
was like a preview.
Okay.
Just like a quick thing.
Wonder if this was something like a test thing that
Yeah.
never got picked up or
I think
something.
I heard about that.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I had somebody call in with the name Daria the other day. I'm like, Your name is Daria.
Are you totally picturing the cartoon? Yeah.
Even though it was an old woman, I'm still picturing Daria.
There's Kim. She still has baggage from her and Scott's relationship in high school. If you watch the special features on this Blu-ray, it shows you the battle that Scott did actually fight 96 guys to win Kim over, because she was kidnapped by this evil guy at the high school. It is a real thing that happened. They actually animated a couple of different shorts for the DVD that these people voice and everything.
What we should do at the end of the podcast is watch some of the commentary, for bonus footage or bonus pod.
We could look at
the bonus pod.
We could grab up the cartoons because I think they're a Blu-ray exclusive.
Hashtag bonus pod.
Yeah. It could be an extra download once we get this going.
Hashtag a nice hard bonus.
Okay, so Wallace is also like an amazing gossip. Even falling asleep super drunk, he's able to text Scott's sister and blab on all the crap that he's doing all the time. The thing is, I think Wallace is very well meaning about it because he does it for Scott's own good. He's trying to show Scott to kind of check him and check his stupid moves that he does in life, so he doesn't screw himself over too bad. Wallace does it out of love.
Just looking out for you.
Wallace is a great roommate.
He's your Obi-Wan. He's your only hope.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd sleep in the same bed. Just, to save space and everything.
I love the old Nintendo and Super Nintendo that they have on the shelf.
Not to mention the Windows 98 computer. Probably not even. I think Windows 98 is probably like 95.
No, yeah,
it's Canada, right?
It's Canada, though. I think they're still running on coal-powered computers. Mice with the inside of a wheel that turn the power supply.
We turned maple syrup into electricity.
Hey. We skipped over one of my favorite lines in this, where Wallace comes in and says one of my favorite lines that I always want to say when I walk into a room. Guess who's drunk? I guess Wallace.
Loya and Mallory have said that to me several times.
Coming home.
Say it all the time. What are you talking about?
And it's usually true.
Hey.
Fonzie, hey.
I like how Scott's just sitting at the door right now, like a little puppy waiting for his mom to get home.
Alright, but it's actually Knives that shows up first.
Damn it.
Oh, it's really sad, though, I mean... He does
Such
totally
a
use
sweet
her.
girl.
I know, and she's actually is too awesome for. She's too awesome for him. Wallace even says as much when he first meets her. He can see exactly what's going to happen with this.
And what exactly does she see in you?
Do not sit, but he's actually sitting on the couch. Just another example of how much Scott's a jerk.
Knives was totally holding a jacket that looked like Rogue from the old 90s classic cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty cool.
I wonder if that was on purpose. I mean, the people making this movie are obviously X-Men fans.
Oh,
I feel bad that Edgar Wright's not directing Ant-Man anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That trailer just came out and it looks pretty good, but I'm always going to sit and watch that movie thinking what could have been, because Edgar Wright is, he like almost everything in this, every shot, every little subtext, everything in the background, everything is done very deliberately, and it's all done by design by Edgar Wright. Like, that's how he makes Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz and World's End and all those movies.
I heard that a lot of the people that actually stayed on for Ant-Man, they're like, you know what, we were going to leave, but we read the script and it was a pretty solid script still.
Yeah.
So, you know what, we'll stick with it, we'll give it a shot. Yeah, we're upset that Wright left, but... kind of got the boot.
Right.
And the superhero with the leftover superpower.
His artificial created pin
Ant-Man.
particles.
I'm really excited about the name, though. Or can we do something about the name? I've only seen the trailer like once.
Can it be Tarantula Man?
I know. I imagine it's going to be one of those things that, like, 5 years after the fact or something like that, it'll finally come to light exactly what the difference is that Edgar Wright and Marvel had with each other, and Kevin Feige. And
yeah.
Anyway.
That's the thing that I like about this Wolverine and the X-Men that I'm watching, is Kevin Feige's actually got his hand in it. He's like one of the producers, writers for it. So
yeah, he oversaw a lot of that stuff. So it really was good. It's too bad it didn't last more than the season. Right here, I love the P bar. That's exactly how I feel. Like, at least every 2 hours or so.
Kind of like playing The Sims. I have to make a deal with that.
Except usually my peas last way longer than that.
Nice.
It just like hits every towel on the way out.
Just touch and go. That'll work.
That's the thing, though. When you get infatuated with someone, you feel like you're in love or whatever. Like, it seems like you're always just kind of moving from moment to moment. You're not sure how you got there because you're just so head over heels and Twitter pated.
Oh, really?
Oh, you don't think so, Loya? Have you not had that yet in your life?
I guess not.
Oh, that's all right. You're smarter than the rest of us then.
I ride a bike and drink some beers. I got it.
Ride bike, drink beers.
You got life figured out.
Sounds
You
like
need
a
to get
great
some
life.
roller skates.
Okay,
like
wait.
roller-
There's a shot right here where he throws it behind his head and it goes in the garbage can. They actually did that. He actually had to throw it into the garbage can. I think it was like 40-something takes.
I like watched them all, and it's just like one after
Yeah,
another.
and you see it like flying and hitting the wall and the camera and
You
everything.
just hear him swear every time.
Yeah.
No, damn it.
I like your goggles.
Mm-hmm.
People don't wear goggles enough
It's
unless
very
they're Riddick.
Digimon.
Yeah, totally.
I don't remember that kid's name. It's like Sora.
TK. No,
TK.
that was one of the.
TK was
TK
the one
was
with
his
Angel
older
Mom.
TK
brother.
and Matt, and then there was. I loved Digimon. I'm not afraid to admit it. It was a better cartoon than Pokemon, I thought, even though Pokemon was fun, you know.
I would go with a separate route, but I liked them both.
Well,
so.
but I was at that. I'm like what, 7 years older than you or something
Yeah.
like that. So Digimon was more my age at the time, I think. So,
I was like 7.
and I'll never
Pokemon
forgive
came out,
the American dub of the first Pokemon movie because the Japanese version was awesome, and they like screwed up all the music and everything like that with all this
I'm
pop
sure.
music for the American one.
Looking back on it, they could have done so much better with that. Like the whole premise of the movie, like we'll have to. I'll do one of those by
Yeah,
myself one of these days.
Should we do a
Nobody else is
Pokemon
there.
movie
That'd be
podcast?
so awesome.
Oh man. As far as things go, I think this is a nice, simple date, fellas. I mean, anybody listening to this podcast who's wondering what to do about a date, this is not a bad way to go for a first date. Do girls think so?
Nice walk in the snow
Come on,
to
you-
a park while you're
You walk
freezing.
around, you hang out, you get to know each other. It's nice and simple.
It seems cold.
Well, besides the snow.
Well, I mean, they kind of had the same type of date on, what was that one with Jim Carrey? Sunshine? Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
Oh yeah,
And
see?
it's the same thing. Only
All
that
kinds of great
was-
love stories.
They were
started
kind of
this
nice.
forced to have that date.
okay, well.
Hey, it was their own decisions to have.
I don't know.
their
I
lives
think
life.
like you really have to be into the person to hang out with them on a swing in the cold in the middle of the night.
But actually, you bring up a really interesting point because as much as by the end of the movie, Scott and Knives kind of resolve their differences and do become friends. I mean, this is a clear sign that Scott and Ramona are actually very much made for each other, and a lot of the crap that Ramona carries around with her up to this point, she finally can let go of because of Scott,
Yeah.
which means they're meant for each other. So, I mean, this first date shows just how much they are into each other.
That's what I'm saying.
So, very good point, Loya. Very astute.
Very astute young lady.
Don't give me that look.
I'll give you all the looks.
Here she is finding one of her subspace tunnels out of nowhere.
Yep.
Because Canada is just chock full of them, I guess. She implies that America is too, somehow, or something. But since she's from New York.
She is American.
Silence, cell phone.
Oh, Mike broke the rule.
Broke your own rule.
I just forgot to silence it. It's not like I'm answering it on the podcast. It's Harley, though.
Oh,
I know. I talked to him earlier today. It's cool. We'll get him for a podcast, guys. You'll love him.
Miss Harley.
Look at all the different kinds of teas there are. Is this real?
Kind of sounds like our kitchen. We've got quite a few teas in there.
I think the same thing Scott does. Did she make some of those up?
Ooh, it's a Celestial brand.
You
They make
recognize
the
it?
sleepy time teas with the bear in his little stocking cap.
How do you know that? You know this.
I was a tea fanatic for a while.
You teetotaler?
Then I started drinking
You
beer
sure ain't
again.
now, yeah. Is that creepy if a guy just walks in on you when you're changing on the first date? I think that goes without saying. Scott only gets away with it because they really are meant for each other, I guess.
Could this be love?
I don't know. Don't try that, kids.
I can't tell you the things I've walked into on first dates.
Ah!
Wow.
Doo-doo-ch.
I can't tell you all the things I've walked in on you.
I know I have kissed a girl where you feel that same way where the guitar shows up with the heart.
You're just
You
a
feel like you're
romantic,
floating.
Mike.
I am pretty
Jeez.
Look at Scott
Old
suggesting
school.
things here.
He's not Magic Mike. He's Majestic Mike.
Maybe
With a
that
hard
should be
K.
my title in the podcast. Will and Majestic Mike.
Whimsical Will and Majestic Mike.
Look at that compromise. He could not have tea. What a gentleman.
We can just not have tea. Would you trade tea in lieu of a makeout with a beautiful woman in her underwear on her bed?
Depends on how much.
Yeah.
How which tea is this again?
Is it mushroom tea? Like,
There's only sleepy time, so I guess it made the choice pretty easy.
I have that same bra.
What?
What's up, bra? That's what I meant.
Was that for your Rocky Horror Picture Show cosplay?
Heck no, I had a corset for that. Thank you very much.
I love how time instantly changes from night to day all the time in this movie. That's usually how it feels like as soon as I fall asleep.
Night to night, or night to day, portal to portal.
Again, here's another superpower that Ramona possesses is the snow melts before her as she rollerblades down the street.
And it causes one heck of a scene, too, because it's so cool to see it just, like, disperse as she's riding into it.
I know, I wish my awesomeness would melt snow. It doesn't every time.
Oh,
7
hugs.
hugs.
Is that what they are?
Those were hugs.
I thought O's were hugs and X's are kisses.
X's and O's.
Well, but they bring that up.
Hugs and kisses.
But they bring that up later when Wallace looks at it and he's like, "What do you think these are?" And he says, 7 little kisses, 7 evil X's." She was warning him about what he's going to have to do to fight for
Didn't
her.
you get my email?
Yeah.
That's coming
I
up.
read some of it.
Oh, look at that. Ooh.
Ooh.
You cut your hair. See, she's wearing it.
Oh,
The coat I was talking about.
Yeah, it is totally like the Rogue 90s one.
It's got its differences, but for the most part, it resembles it quite well.
And it certainly got the same color going on.
Awkward.
Yeah. And then he's looking at her boyfriend.
He's like, oh crap.
I love their announcer here, how bored he is.
I love this band.
Aggression. The artist for the comic book did all these pictures that the guy's flipping on the chart.
Nice. It definitely looks like the same artwork and everything.
I like all the Ramona flashbacks that show her old relationships and stuff. That's exactly how the comic looks. So. I know if you're listening to this podcast, you probably already know that. But go read the comic book because it actually is like super cool in its own right.
I think they just did a compendium, like a full.
Yeah,
like
they
the whole thing.
They have like big old hardbound editions that are in color now and everything.
Yeah.
I read the original black and white ones before they were cool.
I'm OG.
That's why I like when a comic comes out to a movie. They actually go back and remake them.
Yeah, they reinvest in it in better stuff. Yeah, come up with quality things. Oh wait, this song right here, Harley, that just called on my cell phone and interrupted everything. He used to sing this song all the time.
Sad.
Thank you very much.
What was he on? Like the lead singer?
Oh,
I know I recognize him from something.
I'm gonna cover that song whenever I start a band.
So sad.
We can do it right now.
So sad.
Is that girl a drummer? Or is that drummer a boy too?
Yes.
That's a lot of D.
He's throwing the D out into the
That
crowd.
was great. The subtitles that pop up because you can't hear over the music. And the things that he's saying, like, actually foreshadow a lot of the movie later.
Well, why are you guys not freaking out right now?
He's talking about the Chaos Theater. He's talking about G-Man Graves, who's the final boss.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's kind of revealing all kinds of clues to the ending. Look, you can see Wallace and the boyfriend talking back there, too. You know what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Wallace is just that good, I guess. Actually, you can kind of look like that boyfriend, Josh.
What's up? Dang it.
Yeah, you should
I'm gonna
never
make
let...
others jealous.
No matter what circumstance, if you can help it, you should never let your current girlfriend talk to your last girlfriend. Or any of your exes ever talk as much as possible.
Yeah, we try and keep ours as minimum as possible.
Did you know the girl that plays Knife, she actually made all her own t-shirts in this show?
Oh,
Nice.
T-shirts,
That's pretty dope.
yeah. This is like her first movie, too. They just kind of discovered her and threw her in because she was perfect.
She's got her Carol Danvers shirt
She
on.
plays the girlfriend so well.
Oh, yeah, totally. Well, yeah, but she's that, like, first excited girlfriend who's really excited for her boyfriend, discovers all this new music and things because of him, and gets really into it.
Anything Scott does, she's got to love.
Yeah! But then, like, she gets her heart ripped out for it, you know? I guess it's something we all have to go through at some point.
Uh-huh.
I actually like this song a lot. Most of this music is like, it sounds kind of crappy, but it's totally awesome.
Yeah. It's kind of like the Walk Hard soundtrack.
Yeah.
What a brilliant soundtrack! Like that came out
Walk
with the movies,
Hard.
and I think that I like the soundtrack better than I like the movie. I love the movie.
Well, the soundtrack is right up there with like the soundtrack for Team America and stuff. It's just amazing and funny and really good. I like how you blow me kisses. I love how young Neil sings the wrong lyrics right there.
Oh my!
Oh no, my.
I
It's
do
totally
that
me when I'm
all
singing
the
along to
time.
every song.
And I have a wife that calls me out on it, which is even better. Because it helps me like remember the lyrics a lot better.
I think every girl has that superpower to call us out when we
The best
sing
is
the
when
wrong
you
lyrics.
scream it
So,
out, and then somebody calls you out on it. You're like, ah.
Or if you're like singing the wrong words and somebody like pauses the music and you're just singing like the complete wrong chorus and everything.
Oh
You're
yeah,
just
and
like,
you're even totally off key. Now here comes the first evil X that he must fight.
And here's where the whole movie, I feel like the whole feel of the movie just changes.
Yeah, like you suddenly see, okay, I get it. I get where we're going with all this weird stuff.
It's like, it's cool, it's a love story, but now...
Yeah, now you get this like crazy, awesome kung fu action movie out of it.
There's the one word.
Yeah, Wallace knowing exactly what to do in any given situation. And the fact that he actually does punch him out. I think in the comic book it reveals right here, Scott is actually very good at fighting. That's something you didn't know up to this point in the comics. But then he just comes out and he totally wastes this guy, too.
It's like, interesting.
It's that one
That
guy.
one guy. The first X, that one guy.
Yeah, because he sent him that email and threatened him earlier, and Scott just didn't even read it because he was bored.
Blah, blah, blah.
But look how he just wails on him right off the bat here. But you notice progressively, every Evil X is stronger and stronger than the one before it. So
Just like a video game.
by the time he hits the third one, he's like totally outmatched. You know, heck, even the second one actually gives him a run for his money. He has to outsmart him in that case.
Yep.
That's the only way he wins all of them up until the fourth one.
Yeah.
But this guy, he's like magical. Like he's from some kind of Indian heritage or something like that, from India, and he has like all these crazy Bollywood powers.
Yeah. I love his little demon girls.
The art of confusion. Is he saying yes or no?
Very subtle technique for a fighter. I think this fight actually has like some of the coolest choreography in this whole movie.
Uh-huh.
It's the most straightforward and direct.
That
I
guy
think
is
it's that old-
dusty.
Well, they use the classic technique I was about to mention, where they actually put dust on them, so it makes the impacts look like greater. Like if you watch old kung fu movies, they always do that. And actually, the Yuen Wo Ping kung fu team, they're the ones that choreographed this whole movie. So it's the same guys that did The Matrix and Kill Bill and all those movies.
I really wonder what the budget was for this movie.
Actually, I think they kept it around $100 million. Like it's not even that much. That's one of the cool things about this guy is about Edgar Wright is he knows how to make really solid movies on the cheap, kind of like Guillermo del Toro and some of those guys. Until you get to Pacific Rim, that was an expensive movie.
Yeah, that was a way expensive movie.
Pacific Rim.
And that's Drake Bell, right?
Who's that?
Babe?
Oh, the guy that he's fighting, Matthew Patel.
Wait, is
Is
he
it Drake
destroying
Bell?
him by making fun of his outfit?
What's his name?
Yeah. Oh, I think he's lowering his defense.
He's the guy from
like,
Drake and
you know,
Josh.
No.
That's
she's
what you were
shaking
telling
her
me.
head.
No way.
He
I'll
lost a
vouch
lot
for
of
that.
weight.
No way. But yes, he has.
I love how crap, I forgot what I was gonna say. These are the best flashbacks, though. I love the little cartoons that are done in the art style of the comic. And but even this Evil X goes all the way back to 7th grade, which again shows the number 7 that's in this movie all over the place. But
Best number ever.
it is a lucky number.
It's a lucky number.
Yeah, like even like her first boyfriend. Like I mean, she carries all this baggage. She breaks hearts. That's part of the lesson that she has to learn is how to let go of all that stuff and how to not put up a front in order to avoid being hurt. Ultimately, she's one of those girls who will like get together with a guy and then break it off prematurely because she's afraid that she'd rather hurt him first before he hurts her.
This is like the
Hashtag
best
Bollywood.
song.
Yeah. Here comes the Bollywood
Hashtag
stuff.
Bollywood.
But look how awesome it is. He has demon hipster chicks and fire powers.
balls.
And rhyming powers, too. But you'll note he loses his powers when he doesn't even
Yeah.
rhyme.
Demon hipster chicks.
When he actually misses a rhyme, it lowers his powers and Scott's able to defeat him. But he also kills the other band, too. Right there. He just incinerates him.
You're right. I was wrong.
About Drake?
Yeah. His name is Satya Baba. And I'm probably butchering that, but he is a Bollywood star.
Yeah. Oh, really? That's awesome. You should have known. And I love the KO that comes when he defeats him.
I need that in my life.
I need my enemies to turn into money when I defeat them. That would help me out a lot.
I guess he was in 7 episodes of The New Girl, which is hilarious.
That's another thing, too, that happens in this movie is with every enemy that he defeats, each stronger one gives him more and more experience and money.
Yeah.
If only life really were more like a role-playing game that way.
Ah, dang it.
Yeah,
My
Wallace
willpower's
uses
so
other
low.
superpower of seduction of other boys.
Wasn't that guy straight, too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, he was his sister's boyfriend, Scott's sister's boyfriend. And he got turned by Wallace.
Did I miss it?
Oh, I know, it's sad. She kind of wakes up too late. It's all over already.
And everybody just like vanishes within a blink of an eye.
Poor Knives. She kind of gets ditched a lot. It's really sad. But here Ramona finally establishes that they are indeed in a relationship. And warns him that if they're going to continue it, he has to defeat her 7 evil exes. And note that she says evil exes, not ex-boyfriends.
Yes. They're exes.
Which becomes very important later in the movie.
And she fixes him on that all the time.
Yeah, she always
So I had to
corrects
defeat
him.
your 7 ex-boyfriends.
Exes. And he's just looking for excuses to make out and stuff. He's totally a guy.
So I was really skeptical to originally watch this movie
Here comes the Seinfeld moments. Anyway.
because of because of Michael Cera. You know, he's kind of hit and miss, and I
Right.
didn't know how he would take on a role like this. And after I watched it, I was very impressed. Like, all right, Michael Cera, it was pretty good.
He hits it out of the park. He's kind of one of those weird guys, like, I don't know, like maybe Tobey Maguire or something like that, where, you know, people either buy him as this character or not or something. And I dig him in most movies that I see him in. But like I think he knocks this one out of the park.
Yeah.
And you got to give him props for all his hard work and all his guitar work and the combat stuff, you know, all the kung fu and everything.
Oh, yeah, he really did kill it.
Yeah, I think he deserves a lot of props for that. Wallace and wielding the spatula like it's a weapon.
I have to say,
Threatening and declaring to Scott.
how powerful does Scott have to be to not fall under his roommate's spell? And
Uh,
he sleeps in the same bed.
Well, Scott is, he's probably clueless enough to miss whatever signals Wallace sends out, so.
Right.
I think it's more Wallace, though. He takes him on as a protege of some kind in life, you know, and decides to be a guide to him instead of a lover, so it's probably more Wallace's choice than Scott's.
Time to go after Captain America.
Yeah, so this movie, this movie has not only Captain America, but also Superman from the 2006 Superman Returns. And Scott defeats them both. Which shows just how powerful he is. I love the lines that Lucas Lee, you know, the Captain America says right here, Chris Evans. Now you listen hard, bucko. Next click you hear me is hanging up. And the other one is me pulling the trigger. It's like such awesome, cheesy action stuff.
It's kind of like Vin Diesel, how he's given like the worst lines
We're
ever.
only gonna do one speed. Mine.
I haven't smelled beautiful in a long time. Take a freaking shower then, Vin Diesel. Like, come on, it's as simple as that.
But with his voice, he sells it. It's like some of the lines Schwarzenegger always put out there that only Schwarzenegger can say.
And my gosh.
And there we see a clue to Scott's super evil ex from the past. The one that broke his heart and punched it to the moon.
Clash at Demon Head.
Clash of Demon Head is a Nintendo game that I did play in my youth.
Oh, really? So
Yeah,
it's
it's
literally named after a video game, huh?
Yeah, just like Sex Bob-omb is
Yeah.
named after the Bob-ombs on Mario Brothers.
Oh,
Yeah, the
Just
video
the sex
game.
versions.
This thing has got video games coming out of its ears.
Ultimate Beers.
This is sad when he breaks up with her. You can see her heart break. And when she does this love, and he bats it away, the cloud of it, like, it's really sad, man.
Boo turned you into chocolate.
Oh yeah, it's totally like a boo power. Huh?
Or Jack Black in the Tenacious D movie, where he's like, he eats the mushrooms and he just says, "This place is juicy, and like the juicy fruit like logo comes out of his mouth. It just says juicy.
Freaky. Actually, they do a lot of that whenever they get high on the 21 and 22 Jump Street movies.
Look how dark
Yeah,
it
they
is
have really
right
crazy
here.
drug sequences. Well,
Left knives in the dark.
at least he does show some remorse here, and thinks about her face, and he gets really sad about it. And he actually does have some kind of guilt.
Yeah.
But then he starts thinking of Ramona.
He had to do it,
and
though.
he gets over it real
He
quick.
had to do it.
He did, and he should have done it earlier before he spent the night with Ramona, and that's a big plot point later. So
I hate when he wears that hat he was just wearing because it makes him look like he's wearing earmuffs also. When he's not, it's just his crazy poofy
Oh wait,
hair.
right here. This really is the baseline to the battle music on Final Fantasy II. Or Final Fantasy IV, if you want to get real technical. But,
I like how it said it in the subtitles too, like Final Fantasy, whatever.
and my phone has tons of music on it from the Final Fantasy games, so...
Most of the time we play it while we play our Star Wars RPG.
Yeah, I'll play it for battle music while we're just hanging around the table rolling dice. It's
Good
great.
stuff. Why not?
Sets the mood, really gets you involved in the game.
That or Star Wars music, or...
Yeah.
They were playing Lord of the Rings music a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I noticed that.
They found some channel on, what's that website?
Pandora.
Thank you. You know, the one that all the kids use.
It's the one where they go to on that Avatar movie, right?
Scott just became that guy.
Yeah, he just ditches band practice as soon as his girl shows up. Or whatever you're doing. He has to leave for his girlfriend. That's me. I'm sorry, guys.
My wife is here. I gotta leave you guys.
Yeah.
To go.
We're at your house.
Oh, I gotta say, Ramona right here, this is my favorite outfit and my favorite hair color that she has in this movie. I can't really say why, I don't know, it's awesome.
It's the
It's
blue.
like-
The blue's just a really cool color, I think.
I think I watched too much anime as a kid. I always wanted the girl with blue hair.
Bulma.
What's that, Josh?
I was gonna say, what's the gingerbread girl's power?
Sarcasm.
And a broken heart.
Yeah, dealing with it and keeping it bottled in.
She's really good at bottling things. We could pickle that.
Pickle that. What do you do?
Have you guys seen Portlandia?
No, well, just a couple of scenes and clips.
You know, I used to turn that on when my friend would come over because I knew it was the only thing that he didn't want to watch, so he'd leave.
Some friends.
Oh, you're here? Portlandia.
What do you do to your enemies? Jeez, Josh.
You keep your enemies closer. And welcome to the podcast.
And
Wait
here we
a
are
minute,
once
what does that
again.
Mm.
Good thing you're sitting on the other side of Will.
There's gonna be an epic showdown here.
Scott Pilgrim style. Mike versus Josh. KO! Oh, that's Bill Hader, by the way, doing the narrating for the video game stuff.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Ah, I love Bill
I know he's a stud. This is where I learned that bread makes you fat.
Hader.
Scott Pilgrim taught me that. I looked into it and I'm like, oh, I see how that works. It's kind of true.
Stinking carbohydrates.
I know! My bane and my favorite thing ever.
It's your bane.
This really is a great song. It's quick, to the point, easy to memorize. Ramona.
On my mind.
We were talking earlier about how this movie doesn't really have any slow parts.
Right.
Like, it keeps jumping from thing to thing in a really fast-paced way, but it kind of does. It has moments like this to, give them just a minute.
Just a
minute to breathe. Some movies will give you 20 minutes. This gives you about 20 seconds.
Yeah.
This movie's definitely a sprint, and you need those breathers.
There was like
For
that
sure.
one part on Audacity, the recording program, where it was just like a flat line, and you never see
on our
that
levels.
in our podcast. It's like, oh.
Speaking of things that are fast-paced and constantly going.
My love life is doing great, by the way.
Here you learn the mystery of why Scott always wears that hat and why his hair looks like crap. Because the last time that he went and got a haircut, his girlfriend broke up with him a couple hours later. So he's got a fear of haircuts now. So he always cuts his own hair and it looks horrible. So he keeps that hat handy to hide it.
Kind of like I blame all my friends that are Packer fans for not being around and them losing.
You mean they would have won if we just been there to cheer?
I was here.
Okay.
I was here.
Nobody was
My
naming
boy.
names. Chris Loya.
Better than all the boys.
Hey, while you're up, will you give me one and a piece of pizza?
Oh my god.
She's not really my servant or anything like that.
Yes, I will get you.
Of course, Will.
Yes, master.
I don't think she's getting you pizza. She's going the other way. Oh, she's just taking the roundabout way.
She's gonna smite it by putting a little bit of meat or real cheese on there.
Taking away your vegan powers.
Yeah.
You got 3 strikes. Oh, speaking of another one of the vegan cops in this is Thomas Jane that played Punisher in one of those movies.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all kinds of guys from other superhero movies in
And
this.
the other guy, you see him just randomly and everything else.
Which one? The the other vegan cop.
Yeah.
So again, Wallace is so wise and can almost see the future and knows exactly what to do and say, because everything that he told Scott before he left and left the two of them alone at the house, everything he said happened exactly the way he said. He said, "I'll see you in 60 minutes," and here they are 60 minutes later meeting up with him. Because he knew Scott wouldn't be able to handle being alone with her, and he'd mess it up somehow. This is a great intro with Chris Evans as Lucas Lee.
Just rides his skateboard across the lot
I
and
know.
just ditches it.
He's like one of those, he's the douchiest guy. His superpower is douchiness. I like the fact that he uses a skateboard as a weapon and stuff.
Yeah.
I also played the downloadable Scott Pilgrim video game that's all Super Nintendo, like 16-bit looking.
Is it like a side scroller?
Yeah, it's like River City Ransom or Double Dragon or one of those. And you gain powers, so you can keep playing through the game and get more experience and more moves. And it's super cool. But like you fight the evil X's as bosses, and they each have their own levels, and they do get really hard. I remember Lucas Lee is really tough.
I used to play one similar.
Oh, he punches him, but he still asks for his autograph again.
I used to play a similar game. It was called Emo Game.
Huh?
And basically what it was a video game adapted around indie bands of the time period.
Huh.
So they would have people from like at the drive-in. They would have people from the lead singers of them and just a ton of them. But they would make it all video game based, so they would have their certain powers and their certain special moves, and you would go against bosses that were usually like record companies and shit. It was pretty cool, but it was all 8-bit too.
That sounds awesome. I love those 8-bit things. And I've still never even like played Destiny or anything like that. I mean, I'm way behind the times, but I just dig those old school like 2D side scrollers and stuff. I love the fact. Oh, that's another superpower he has is a posse of stunt doubles. So he almost is like multiple man.
Double.
Yeah. Double also being the number 2, which is that evil X that he is. Yeah, I think this is the last fight where Scott is almost evenly matched with this guy. He still actually doesn't take him down though.
That is a lot of doubles.
Mm-hmm.
What is it, 7? So again, there's the number 7. But I love the fact that they show them all ganking him, and he's holding his own against him, but then when it cuts away to Lucas Lee and he's walking away thinking the thing's settled, Scott actually does kick the crap out of all 7 of these guys.
Yeah.
He actually is like super good fighter. Look at him go, man. Do you see the pow like Batman from the...
I wonder where he got his fighting skills.
It's just natural, man. It's his Canadian power. Like the Terrigen mists of the Inhumans.
Must be something in the water.
It makes me want to move there.
It's like the
Definitely.
opposite of Mexico.
The water is Montezuma's revenge.
I would totally move to Canada, but I wouldn't want to have to pay the extra $9 to have things shipped from America. So.
Oh, if he's like not even paying attention, he's just texting. Oh, but the line that he says coming up here, my brother and I say this all the time when we tell each other a joke. Where he looks at it, he goes, "That is actually hilarious." Love it. Should I do my beard that way?
Definitely.
Sometimes I think I can get away with it, but I need to get a douchey haircut. Start riding a skateboard like this guy. You're wanted back on the set. Yeah, I need it back on the set. And just in case anybody wants to be a smartass in the comments and stuff like that, I know I'm fudging up a couple of these lines, but just keep it to yourself, okay?
You should see the database of famous quotes from movies that we have in our little brains.
I know.
Well, they might be quite massive brains, but we have a very large index of things that we can quote.
Yeah, that's why I can't learn math. It's already full of movie quotes. There's a little in-joke for filming and film industry people about the fact that that tower in Toronto is right there, or hidden behind the Empire State Building. Because apparently a lot of movies that are supposed to be in New York are filmed in Toronto, and they usually have to digitally remove the tower there, place a fake Empire State Building in front of it all the time.
I've definitely heard that.
Yeah, let's go get a beer. No! Ooh!
I can't believe you fell for that.
He's such a douchebag. This is like the guy that I've lost most of my girlfriends to, or some girl that I was trying to get with or something. They always ended up going out with this guy. He represents that.
I'm sorry. Just in advance. I mean, for all those times.
Oh, well, thank you. It's all worked out. I ended up with something cool.
That guy, bro.
Yeah. I am the
Can you do a grindy thingy now?
That's me when I talk about sports or skateboarding. A grindy thingy?
It's funny, I've got friends that'll come over and they'll just skate out in my driveway because we've got great grinding rails. And they won't even stop in and be like, knock, knock, knock. Hey, Will, you want to come out while you skate?
They just come over anyway and start doing it without you.
Ollie, isn't that a boxer?
Move like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Grind, that's what I do daily.
There's an old bit where some guys come to take out Muhammad Ali's daughter, and he tells her, remember, he may be pretty, he may have wits, but whatever you do, don't let him touch your... like a bee. His brain damage. Yeah. Muhammad Ali's cool.
I saw a picture with him and Arnold Schwarzenegger the other day.
Oh yeah? Who do you think would win? Probably Muhammad Ali.
These days, I don't know. Probably Arnold, because he has the mental capacity to throw a punch.
That's true.
But back in the day, I definitely think Ali would have knocked Schwarzenegger out.
Oh, and see, Ramona ditches him. See, right now she's already kind of facing the same problem that she always has, where about every week and a half, she even says about every 10 days, she's finicky enough that she takes off from him before he can hurt her. You know, she's already thinking twice about it and cutting and running before she faces, you know, the reality of a real relationship.
I like how he had to plug in his last name just in case she forgot. This is Scott
Pilgrim. I love how he spells sucks with an infinite loop on a number 8 on the fridge. This is where we learn that the kisses actually represent the 7 evil exes he'll have to fight for. 7 deadly exes. Wallace, of course, recognizing that and being completely wise.
So many X's everywhere.
Really is. There's even like that time where they're crossing the snow and it's like a bird's eye view where they walk through the sidewalk and it's a big X where the other one crosses the one sidewalk.
Yep.
It's just all over the place. And it's about to get like completely overt right here in a minute when he walks away from the apartment.
But I lesbians you.
Yeah. The L word. Lesbian? No, the other L word. Lesbians. He wants him to get together with Ramona so that he can go live with her, so he doesn't have to feel bad about kicking him out.
This pizza is awesome. Pie Pizzeria's vegan barbecue pizza.
Oh, the pie is amazing. The Pie Pizzeria, Google search it. We'll plug them. Why not?
Beer
Oh,
matter.
that call that he gets from her when he answers the phone. Hello, and she says hello, Scott, and he says envy, and you see Wallace, who understands all, turn on. Oh shit.
How normal she looks in the pictures behind him.
I know, it's sad because they look like they were really happy together and stuff. And then one day she just decided she wanted bigger and better or something, or she got corrupt. And then there's that little shot where she's actually walking away, symbolic of her leaving him. Maybe that was the moment.
And then it's gone.
Yeah.
She's like,
sad.
oh, you cut your hair? I didn't notice until the pictures. See ya.
In the comic book actually spans a greater amount of time than the movie. And him and Envy, actually, they kind of meet up and they sort of reconcile a lot of problems, and it helps them both sort of get over it and move on. So she actually has a cooler part to play, I think, in the comic book. In this, she's just a total biznitch. But oh, right here, when Knife shows up and he jumps out the window.
Nope, he just left.
I'll admit I've had to pull one of those basically to
How did
avoid
he
a
get
girl.
his jacket?
Yeah. It's like totally obvious. She even notices like that he kind of notices that he walks away. Here's the part where I was talking about where it's overt with the X's, but and of course there's 7 of them.
Yep.
Did that say stop for pleasure?
Only in your
funny.
mind, apparently. So this scene right here where the ninja girl shows up, the 4th evil X, you know, kind of foreshadowing her part later on. It's straight from the comic book, but it kind of stops the movie dead. And the way that they edit it together and some of the lines that she says, you kind of get this idea that they actually cut out a huge chunk of the scene, so it makes you wonder why they kind of left it in to begin with. But it's kind of a nice intro. Both of these characters, by the way, were in Arrested Development together.
Yep.
Do you recognize her, Mel? Yeah, that she was like the really
Where's
Christian
Anne?
girl. Yeah.
Who's Anne?
Playing a completely different character in this. Of course, so is he.
It's so funny.
Costuming in this is really cool. I love her eyeliner, her football stuff. Yeah, she makes a cool ninja. There's another ninja in the comic book that he has to fight who's actually Knives' dad. Because once he finds out that he broke his daughter's heart, he comes after Scott. But Scott kind of learns some lessons, and that's where he actually gets his katana blade and stuff. And he fights the dad, but the dad sees that he actually does have potential for honor and stuff, and sort of recognizes it and lets him live.
Teaches him the way of the katana.
Exactly. Here's Julie showing up again at this place. She
Works
literally works at
everywhere.
every place. Scott's sister, very concerning, but always on the move. And all the bleeping that goes on there. Oh, you still gotta hop on our Star Wars podcast and bleep out some of the things. R2 beeps.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be great. If there's any dropped in this one, I'm just gonna use that exact same thing.
I like how he gets a caramel macchiato, because that's like what I always get
That's what I get also.
when I want some grilled coffee.
Extra shot.
Just get coffee.
Clash at Demon Head. I had that video game, and it was actually my brother's. And hopefully this isn't the first time he's ever hearing this, and I'm really sorry, Matt. But one of my friends actually stole it without us knowing it, and then he sold it to a store here for cash.
Oh.
And my brother used to ask me where is that game? And I honestly didn't know. My other friends told me the story later. So
It's
anyway,
oh yeah, you remember that one guy? Well, he totally screwed you, went and sold that.
yeah. Well,
should your
then
friends
he
better?
moved away, so I could never make him pay me back for it or apologize to Matt. Or something. But
That's one of those times where you become really rich, and that's one of your bucket list things to do is go kick
Find
the
that
trash
kid
out of them. Yeah,
punch his teeth in.
Remember that one time?
Like
This is for
James-
Clash at Demon Head.
like Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah.
where they get all the money.
Are you this?
Are
Whatever
you
the Avatar
Magnolia
is.
fan?
Yeah. That's like some 12-year-old kid.
Yeah. How many people want to kick some ass? I would if I could.
I've always wondered in the movie version of this if Envy is here under orders of Gideon, because Gideon's her producer.
Yeah.
So, he's probably trying to use this as a way to, mess with Scott's psyche. Or if Envy actually is there, because she still has feelings for him kind of thing. And, and she knows that her current boyfriend was Ramona's ex, and it can get complicated if you read between the lines.
Read between
Makes
the
you
lines.
wonder. In the 100 times or so that I've watched this movie, I've thought about that a little bit. Yeah, Ramona, I don't know what the thing with her 10 days is supposed to represent. She always breaks up with guys after a week and a half. She changes her hair color every 10 days, she says.
X. Roman numeral for 10.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I never even saw that one. Amazing revelation. Oh, here come 4 guys in the bed. Wallace was apparently having a threesome at some point when Scott came home.
Other Scott.
Double negative. It's tricky. Yeah, you are. His shirt
He's not
says
even
SARS.
He does have some of the best t-shirts in this.
Good thing Knives doesn't wear that shirt.
For a while, I love his Astro Boy shirt in this part. For a while after I saw this movie, I was trying to wear sweatbands on my wrists like that, whatever you call them.
Bad move.
I know, I
Bad
don't I
move,
wasn't
sir.
cool enough to pull it off.
It's like wearing a sweatband.
Not to mention I was like 30 by that point, so
Oh,
it just
even worse
made it
move.
even stupider.
You definitely were
Oh.
trying to be Tom DeLonge or something like that from Blink-182.
It's like a
Hey,
60
never compare me to Blink 182.
Yeah, that bracelet was so Nickelback.
But the fact later when he pulls the pick out of it and stuff like that, and I got watching this again one time, and I'm like, I can't do that. I'm not awesome like these guys, or young enough to look naive enough to pull it off. Oh, it's sad that Knives is looking out the window though. I mean, but she has to learn something too. I mean, you can't get obsessed with the person that broke up with you,
And you can never trust a man in a band.
right?
They're always going to break your heart.
And then she changes herself.
Yeah. And she tries to be more like the girl that he's into, thinking, oh, that must be what attracts him to her or something. But it actually does look really cool. I love the moment when she actually realizes how good she looks with the blue hair. And she realizes just on her own, that actually is way cool.
She's throwing up right here.
I do remember, so I went to see this movie in the theater the day it came out because I was so excited for it. And I was working at Home Depot at the time, and I worked nights. So I had the morning off, so I went and saw like a 10:45 a.m. show or something. And the theater was like half full, and the people who were in there, you could tell were just like me, like really excited to see it. We were all laughing at the jokes. We all noticed things. You could hear people whispering through it, you know, stuff they saw on screen or whatever. But I remember that part right there where she dyes her hair was the part that I had to get up and pee. And I missed it in the theater. Anyway.
Oh.
I don't know what
Right,
it is.
you had to go up and pee.
I think there's something psychosomatic about that because I still have to pee about that point every time I watch this movie. It's like how I can't watch the movie Up because when I saw it in the theaters, there were a bunch of little kids all sitting around me and my buddy, and like I didn't want to get up and use the bathroom and like move and all these little kids and then like have to come back. So I just held it because I kept thinking the movie was going to be over any minute, but it went on for like another 40 minutes. And like I can't watch that movie without just feeling a pain around my bladder area.
I thought you were going to say that you can't watch it because you cry every time you watch it now.
Oh,
So
no.
you're just trying to
Well, I
avoid
cry
it.
in the first 5 minutes with that whole scene. I do love what the Riff Tracks guys say when they're watching Twilight sex scene when Bella and Edward finally get together. Like, the old couple from Up had hotter sex than these guys. Speaking of which.
And that was post the woman's death.
Alright.
Necrophilia jokes.
It does seem a little too... No, never mind. I'm not even going to go there with it.
Too soon? Too soon?
Oh, I love this part right here. It falls between the two of them. I need to pee on her. I gotta pee on her. Harley and I say that to each other all the time when we've got to go.
I gotta pee on her.
This song, the first time I heard this song, was super cool. It's what led me to discover the band Metric.
Oh,
And,
yeah, I love
their-
Metric.
Their lead singer, what's her face?
No clue.
Is it Emily something?
Never
I'm
knew.
sorry, look up Metric, they're totally rad. This is one of their B-sides, too. Like, this isn't even one of their main songs. But this girl does, they say, I think in the commentary on this, that they had this actress sing it, like, super sexy. As opposed to, you know, kind of
I think I heard
normal.
the original, like, not long after I watched this, and I was like, it's completely different, but I like the way that they've done it in this movie.
Oh, yeah, and it totally fits for who character is and stuff. But I've got it on my phone if you want to listen to it now.
Now?
Nah, maybe not.
Not
so-
only do you get a movie podcast, but a music one at the same time.
It just completely veers off course. That's our podcast in a nutshell. Just nothing but tangents all kind of crammed together.
Oh, here's the movie. And on other news,
Yeah.
back to the movie.
Our
What were we talking about? The movie.
I'm gonna admit our Die Hard one is totally about that because we watched it with Evan and he didn't like he was the only one who had seen the movie in the last couple of years. So we're watching it, we're like, what's even going on in this part? We're just making fun of it. I feel kind of bad about that. But.
No, we could have given it some more time, but we could do Live Free or Die Hard sometime. That's my favorite one, just because of Justin Long and Kevin Smith's appearances.
Oh,
in
that
it.
is true. They kind of make that movie. Though it is one of them that has like the magic computer in it and the bad guys who know how to wave a wand to do whatever they want with traffic lights and stuff.
Yeah.
Like Napster from the Italian Job.
Oh, man.
I love Seth Green,
me
but
Napster.
come on.
Yeah.
I liked the nerdy kid from The Core.
Oh, her face right there when he finds out that Scott dated Envy. From The Core? I've never seen The Core.
Oh, it's one of my favorite freaking movies ever, because they had to like go to the core to restart it.
Isn't that
'Cause everything
with
starts-
that girl who won an Oscar for playing the boy?
Hilary Swank.
There you
Yeah.
go. She was the next Karate Kid. I still never
Yep.
seen that one.
You watch one for us, and we'll watch one for you.
I love the next Karate Kid.
Is it
I
really
liked
with the
it
girl
pretty good,
Karate
too.
Kid?
She's a fucking girl kicking ass.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Well, I only just recently got around to watching Karate Kid 3 for the first time.
There was a Karate Kid 3?
It was terrible. I used to watch the second one all the time just because it was in Japan. And somehow as a kid, like I totally fell in love with Japan. And I don't know. Well, this is a cool scene where you realize how evil the third Evil X is because he hits a girl. And not only does he hit her, but he hits her so hard, he punches the blue highlights out of her hair.
And young Neil, that's the first thing he says.
He punched the highlights from her hair! And then later when Gideon punches girls, bad guys are the only ones who punch girls in these shows, right? But when Gideon's punching the girls, it says bad! Like the old video game that him and Knives play. So it's like, you know, even subconsciously trying to tell you, like, do not hit girls. Anyway, I love it.
He really
doesn't know the meaning of incorrigible. And Julie, the way she sucks up to Envy, like she's a total... You cocky cock! think I heard they almost couldn't get that in the movie because it was too many times saying the word cock for like England for the UK. Something like that. So Will is a vegan, and him and Mallory both, and they use these powers all the time to smash their enemies.
You know
Every
it.
day.
They don't even mess with us anymore.
Oh,
Yeah,
this
like-
is the vegan power.
Yeah, this is the vegan power.
Todd's vegan.
With the Dragon Ball Z hair.
Yep. I go Super
And
Saiyan.
the only reason that they have these kind of
Super
powers is
vegan.
because
I hear-
vegans are better than everyone.
I hear his vegan level's over 9,000.
His vegan levels over tofu.
Over
1,000.
9,000! Yeah.
Kakarot, what is his power level?
Oh, it's only 1,009. Or, no, 1,006. But then he flips it up. Oh, I had it upside down. It's over 9,000!
Doctor.
I just said Kakarot, not Vegeta. I just.
You just lost
Good
your
night,
cred.
everybody.
Yeah.
Good night.
Mr. Satan
Well,
is,
podcast
is
for
literally
Josh,
just
yeah.
like a thing of like the wheat gluten stuff. The
Oh,
Satan,
he's really leaving. Well,
SCITA.
leave the Mountain Dew.
Hold on, I'm getting more dew.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I need fuel.
More to do.
Unless you understand the science of vegan. Maybe I'd listen to a word you said if you understood the science. The fact that he punches him like way high in the sky and it takes forever for him to come down. Yeah.
I'm surprised they don't. I'm surprised they didn't be like, where do you get your protein from? Oh, that's an interesting story. Well, there's avocados. Bam! He just smashes him through a wall.
I like the bass battle that's coming up here real soon. But I do kind of wish that the bass line that Scott was playing was indeed Final Fantasy II's bass line.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been an awesome callback. But I don't know. I just drive trucks for a living. I'm not a director, so what do I know?
He literally punched a hole in the moon for me.
He did in the comic book when it talks about their backstory. He totally did. It's totally awesome. I swear I remember the Vegan Academy is actually like a floating school in the sky. But I might just be thinking of the movie Sky High,
I remember
which
that
also
movie.
has Mary Elizabeth Winstead in it. The girl who plays Ramona. I love this little exchange with grammar.
I and he.
I and he and me. Don't talk to me about grammar. Tell it to the cleaning lady Monday, because then you'll be dust.
Because the cleaning lady doesn't come until Monday because it's the weekend.
It's like he's like actually this really dumb blonde guy, like pretty boy. Love it. See, so
It's Friday now.
he's the one that most overtly has the number of evil X that he is.
Yeah.
Like the other ones, Lucas Lee just had it on his car. I don't quite remember where Matthew Patel has it, but this guy just wears a big number 3. And again, Scott wearing the shirt 0.
Matthew Patel had an upside down V on his arm, and I was trying to find the semblance in it.
Well, it's just a chevron, right? So
Yeah.
would that mean anything, Josh? You're in the Air Force.
Yeah, nothing. It means nothing.
Ah, well, it's 1, so he's the first
You're
one.
in the Air Force, so it'd be like what? An airman?
Yeah, that would be a 2, but it wouldn't even be in the Air Force. So
Gotcha.
It just
I'd have to see the symbol, but a
um,
lot of D.
Lots of D.
like I said, I wish this part had been.
Base battle.
I love how he floats in, stinking vegans.
Stinking vegans. We're only stinking because being vegan gives us bad farts.
Like the cups, even move away from him psychically. But I wish he'd been playing Final Fantasy 2, and I wish that's like the song he was playing at this point.
Mm-hmm.
They paid for the rights for it. They should have just done it. But I mean, right here you see that this guy is Todd or whatever his name is. He's actually clearly a way better bassist than he is. He plays really cool riffs right here.
And as much as you want to go for Scott, it's like, oh,
Hey,
he's
he's
got
pretty
you
good. He
there.
kind of deserves this. That's alright. He deserves envy. They're both kind of evil and horrible people.
Yeah.
This
most
movie's sort of
definitely.
full of horrible people that kind of have to learn that lesson at the end. I think the only real innocent ones are the ones too young to know any better, like Knives and young Neil.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else is, in their early 20s and kind of a jerk. No offense, guys.
I'm in my late 20s.
Mid 20s.
You passed the point. I'm talking about mostly the characters that are like 22.
The point of no return.
Eat that,
I like how he's
22-year-old
so
listeners.
fast.
Yeah, that he comes through the door after you see him floating there. I just dig the Dragon Ball Z hair. When you play him in the video game, he's super evil. He keeps bashing through walls, Juggernaut style, and you have to try to defeat him before he gets you so far.
You can't stop me. I'm the Juggernaut.
She calls him a dickhead.
I'll take the woman's sword.
Say what you will about X-Men: The Last Stand. I kind of like that part.
Yeah.
I don't even
agree.
hate that movie. It's kind of like Wolverine Origins. They're both just really dumb fun.
And they talk
Terrible
about,
representations of all that, but just dumb fun.
and everybody complains about how far away it fell from the comic books. The classic 90s did this Dark Phoenix saga completely different than the comic books.
That's true. They had to.
did
For
The
Days
Vegan
of Future
Police.
Past.
Oh, that's what the V stands for. It's for vegan.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen? Have these guys ever showed up at your doorstep, Will?
Nope, because I'm a good vegan.
Because you're total straight edge.
I stay on a
Do they have anybody
plant-based
even
diet.
use that term anymore? I'm sorry.
I guess they do still use straight edge.
Mhm.
A lot of people.
Yeah, see, these people know, man. So you better stick through it.
It's
Milk and eggs, bitch.
Chicken
Like I say, this movie's full of great quotes.
Parmesan.
Chicken isn't vegan.
De-veganizing Ray.
I dated a girl who did that. She's like, yeah, I'm totally vegetarian, but she's totally eating chicken. And I'm like, if you say so. I love the high five they give each other as they walk out. Oh, but first we
And
have
here's
to
the
kill
classic
him.
line.
Yeah. Sure, his hair is digital right there.
Be gone.
Now you will be gone.
I still use that in my everyday life.
And then he headbutts him to death.
That's a lot more coins that time.
Oh yeah, it gets more and more every time. I love. Okay, watch the
Breaks
two
the
guys.
bank at the end.
This is totally you and me.
I mean,
Will.
spoiler. Spoiler.
Dude, maybe they haven't watched this show before.
Well, I'm only saying, you know.
This might be the newest movie we've done for our podcast.
I think so.
Everything else has been like from the 80s or...
Early
I guess,
90s.
yeah, Hook was 91 or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, wow, we're moving up to the 21st century now.
Oh, we'll kick it back down to the 80s and 90s. Don't worry.
That's probably why my knowledge isn't so abundant.
What are you, 24, 25?
25.
Yeah, okay. No, you're right there, though. You've seen all these same shows and stuff.
Yes, yes. No, I mean, it's so recent. You know, I haven't had enough time to watch it as many times.
Ah, that's true.
No, Hook. Hook was amazing.
Shut the bleep up, Julia.
Julie finally gets the taste of her own medicine.
And that medicine being the
Coke
sound that
Zero.
you get when you're playing Operation and you touch the side of it.
Oh, yeah. Hate that game. Just
Little
for that
nose
reason.
lights up.
Makes you want to pound the guy on the bed that you're trying to
Oh,
do
you're gonna
surgery
pound
on.
him, huh?
With my fists. Oh, you're gonna We're going with that.
PG-13. Come on, Mike.
Breaking my own rules unintentionally.
I kind of set you up for that one.
right here is where the comic book and the movie really start to kind of go on different paths. And I mean, it's been really faithful to it at this point. I don't know if it's because the comic was only this far out by the time that they were making a movie about it or something. Because like I say, the creator of the comic was like totally in on making the movie too. Like he had everything to do that. He was there on set. He was helping out with all kinds of stuff. And he was trying to finish the comic so the ending of the comic would coincide with the release of the movie. But they sort of... Yeah, there's the number 4 right there for the X are about to fight. That almost looks more like Rogue's jacket right there that Ramona's wearing.
Yeah, that one
Little
does. Kind of like the Anna Paquin.
I almost bought a jacket I saw on clearance at Target today because it kind of looked like Trunks' jacket.
Nice.
I couldn't justify though. It wasn't close enough. I was too much of a perfectionist about it. Yeah, here we see all the girls that Scott's broken their heart, like Knives right there, and Kim right here, the way she's still staring at him, which becomes important later for her final scene.
She had freckles, which is hot.
A face without freckles is like a night without stars. Someone said once. No, it's a magnet on Lonnie's fridge.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
This story that he talks about where he had to fight the 96 guys and he punched a guy so hard he saw the curvature of the earth. That really is like what happened. It's in the animated special features on it. When he saves Kim. I kind of like Kim just because I used to play her in the video game. So I play with my brother and my niece. And, you know, they choose, like, Ramona and Scott. And then I'm like, okay, well, I can either be the lead singer of the band or I can be the drum girl. The drummer girl is cooler. She's way tougher and less whiny.
This part is hilarious because
With-
my ex's name is Roxy.
Oh, really?
So it's
Do you think Mallory would fight her like this?
Oh yeah. Only
With
she
a
wouldn't
giant
need me
hammer.
behind her.
Yeah.
Throwing all the punches.
Here we find out exactly why, of course. I love that little bit, no clue, and then gets
You
it
and her?
with the song, the hedgehog sound. But like, right here we finally get why Ramona's always clarified that it's evil exes and not ex-boyfriends. She has some of the best lines.
Uh-huh.
You're bi-curious, I'm bi-furious. And the versus sign, oh, it's pink. This time, instead of blue. Oh, another little side note about the comic is when she pulls out her hammer right here to fight this girl, it details that the hammer has a +5 against blondes.
Nice. Little RPG lingo for those of you.
And you can tell it's super heavy, like Ryoga's umbrella from Ranma 1/2 and some of that total kung fu motif. Let's see, the shots like that, where they reflect in the piece of the disco ball, like, I love Edgar Wright. I love the stuff he sets up. Oh, well, and it's also cinematography is by Bill Pope, who also worked on The Matrix and Team America, and he's a great director of cinematography.
Was he also part of
He did
Sucker
Spider-Man.
Punch?
He might have done Sucker Punch. I don't know if he's done Zack Snyder movies as much, but I know he did the first 2 Spider-Man movies and a couple of them. He might have done the third one. I guess the girl right here is actually trained in like ribbon dancing and stuff, so that's why she's actually doing it with the ribbon, and then they just digitally put the weapon on top of it. But it's
Red
actually all
ribbon
real.
dancing?
Yeah, the hammer's super heavy. This kick is wicked.
Bam! So cool.
Right into the ground. Both these girls are trained like dancers or ballerinas or something, which is why they can do these awesome kicks. Seriously, even Van Damme was trained in ballet and stuff. That's why
Most
he was
football
such a great-
I
players.
recall that, yeah. He wasn't even a martial artist to begin with. He was just a ballet dancer.
Yeah, and then he ended up taking oh, it's a karate. I think it's the same karate that like Ken and Ryu take on Street Fighter, but
What?
I'm trying to
Kempo?
remember what it's called. No, it's not. Well, I think he did do Kempo, but Shotokan.
Oh.
It says he takes Shotokan. Oh, but I love the fact that she uses Scott as a weapon, because she technically has to in order to
Defeat
count
her.
as a defeat against the League of Evil Exes. Never quite explains what that's all about, but I mean, if you played video games, you just kind of roll with it.
Alright.
Lazy ass! I love how
she
it
has
like, brings it back in.
She has kind of a BAMF almost when she teleports. It's totally
Yeah.
Nightcrawler. Except it says Path, I think. but
Yeah.
Still counts.
I wonder if it still smells like
Oh, here comes
sulfur.
The BF's about to get F'd in the B! And the back on the knees thing. This is a hilarious weakness to defeat a boss with. Okay, enough. Oh boy.
The power of the G spot.
Yes, this works. Try not to read too much into the explosion there.
So
see all
that's
this-
where it is.
Right? Yeah.
That's the money
It's
shot.
been behind the knee all the time. I think Quagmire figures that out in an episode of Family
Yeah,
Guy.
he's like,
Oh, yeah.
Women got a
Is
fourth
this
hole.
There's a fourth hole?
yeah,
Yeah, it's behind the knee.
So weird, man. I love how he's getting drunk here. He's like, I've only had one drink, and holds up 2 fingers. But I mean, this is actually Ramona. She's already kind of breaking through her old habits of just leaving the guy. She actually is trying to make it work here. And Scott, he still obviously has to work on his hang-ups of being a dick.
And this is the first time you see him drink around Ramona, too.
Yeah, I think it's actually the first time he actually does drink in the movie, because he's always had just Coke Zero. But I mean, he's starting to get stressed out because he's almost like the first X, yeah, whatever. The second X, okay, I can handle it. The third X almost broke his back, and then an hour later he has to fight the fourth one who almost kicks his butt.
Yeah.
And the only reason he defeated is because he cheated, because Ramona knew an inside info about her.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if they were this powerful and he still got 3 more X's to face,
Yeah.
I'd be worried too, man. And I don't care how much I like the girl, I'd start kind of thinking if it's worth my life.
I love the visualizations of the next battle.
Oh yeah, with the Battle of the Bands, the Kariyanagi twins.
Here's your stinking list.
Love how there's a bracket that combines the 2 of them. She dated twins at the same time.
It's kind of like American Horror Story, the new season. because Neil Patrick Harris
Kyle
is
and Ken.
dating the two-headed woman.
4.5.
I guess if you were dating, you kind of have to, right? Yeah, his T-shirt here, like Franklin Richards from the Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe. Didn't he take on Onslaught, or he had a big key when they originally took on Onslaught in the early 90s?
As far as I'm aware, he was basically the one key component that helped destroy Onslaught in the very first.
I remember he was like inside Onslaught and like Thor. It was one of the first times I ever saw Thor and realized how cool he was, because he totally like flies with Mjolnir out in front of him and crashes through Onslaught's body and rips Franklin Richards out all in like one big move.
So, do you think we're going to be seeing Beta Ray Bill in this new Thor movie?
I don't know, man. I mean, it's supposed to be the final one with this guy. I'm almost wondering if they're going to try to take, to let this one kind of wrap up and then make Girl Thor, and have that become a new thing.
Bring the whole new. They could do
make
like
movies about her or something.
They could do Iron Lad instead of Iron Man. He grows up to be the blue guy from the Apocalypse Twins.
Oh, the Kang.
Kang the
Kang
Conqueror.
the Conqueror.
Yes. Yeah. Ooh, who's that? Is that Polaris? Do I see Polaris out there?
Will is, of course, pointing at Ramona's new green hair that looks like Polaris from X Factor.
Her hair kind of gives us a semblance of time, because she changes it every 10 days, so we know exactly how much time has lapsed in the movie.
Right, yeah, it's been maybe a little while between that last night when he fought the fourth Evil X and this Battle of the Bands. But these twins, like, it's totally, they totally kind of have a J-pop thing going here with their electronic music.
Oh, yeah.
And their lights. They're pretty threatening. I wonder where they found these guys. I think they're like TV hosts in Japan, if I remember right, or something like that.
That I would not doubt. That'd be hilarious if they were like the hosts of
some kind of band show.
Gosh, what was that? Most Extreme Elimination Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that show back in the day on like Spike?
Kind of. I mostly remember on. I think it was on Simpsons where George Takei is hosting. He's like, in America, your game shows reward knowledge, but in Japan, we punish ignorance. Yeah, the fact that they literally blow the roof off the place with one note. And they turned it up to 11. If you look at the dials
X.
on the things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, huh? There's an X right there with the lights that fall down.
I'm on X Patrol.
You're getting the leftovers, huh? You're on X Patrol.
Oh, Gideon. Gideon's played by Jason Schwartzman, and he plays an awesome jerk.
He also
He
plays
plays
a
such a
really
slimy
good,
dude.
crazy guy. Have you ever seen Slackers
No,
with him in it? Oh man, they've got the older Pete from Adventures of Pete and Pete, and
oh, wow.
uh,
He's in a bunch of stuff.
Devin
He
Sawa's
pops up
in
all the
it.
time.
And he plays Cool Ethan, and he rides a unicycle.
That's
around.
a cool name. I kind of dig this whole thing that they're trying to do here with that. It's like a battle of willpower and stuff, and the twins are actually kind of worried by these guys' scenes, so they turn it up to the Japanese number for 11. Turn it up to 11, but they're twin dragon attack. And it's totally like, and it's also kind of like Double Dragon, which is, like kind of what one of the inspirations for this movie, for the comic.
It's exactly what I thought of when I was watching this. I'm like, Double Dragon.
But then you also have to remember the monster that comes out of Sex Bob-Omb's energy or whatever, their willpower, as a green-eyed monster that represents the envy that Scott has for, Ramona being back with Gideon and stuff like that. But he focuses that energy in defeating these twins. So I guess sometimes you can use that kind of crap for good and, make it a positive in your life.
Alright, let's do this.
Yeah, they totally jam. I don't know, I dig this song. Maybe it's just because of this movie, but I think it's pretty awesome. So they try getting him back with the same attack, but it's not going to work this time. And even Gideon looks kind of worried now.
We know your secret power.
Yeah.
Hey, Yeti.
It is. It's a Yeti. Oh, yeah, because it's Canada, right?
Yeah.
The Great White North. So of course it's a Yeti. Green-eyed Yeti.
Somebody bring out Puck. Where's the rest of
Alpha Flight?
Alpha Flight. I want to see North Star, darn it. What's his sister's name?
Maybe North Star is actually Wallace.
There you go.
Wallace is actually North Star, and this is just what he does on his off time. Helps out other young superheroes like Scott Pilgrim, other potentials, quote unquote.
This part always reminds me of like Rampage.
Yeah, that old Nintendo game.
Yeah, I used to play that all the time with my buddies.
Oh, the Extra Life, the one up. My brother, he knows I love playing the Mega Man games. Like, Mega Man's like one of my most favorite games. And he made me a life like that out of, what are those little beads that you glue together?
The melt beads.
Yeah, it looks all like 8-bit like that. And he gave that to me one year for Christmas as part of another Christmas gift. And it just says, "Hey, Mike, get a life." But it looked just like the Mega Man 1-ups that you get in those boards. I still have it. Yeah, but right here, I think this is when Knives finally snaps. And her heart completely breaks, and she realizes that it's over between her and Scott. But the thing is that the mistake that she makes is that she blames Ramona for it, when really, I mean, it is Scott's fault. Ramona had nothing to do with it. She didn't even know.
She still to this point doesn't really know about Knives. I'm sure she senses that there's something there. But
She got that, but I think that might be part of the reason why she's running, is she senses trouble from Scott, you know. And Scott has to conquer that before they can really, truly make it work.
Hey there, Hydra hair.
Her hair?
Hydra hair. It's what Wolverine calls Agent Brand of S.W.O.R.D.
Oh, really?
Hey there, Hydra hair.
I don't think I've seen... I think the only time I've ever seen them interact is in Joss Whedon's Astonishing X-Men run.
Mm-hmm. Even then, I think there's like only one little bullet or bubble that actually calls her Hydra hair. I don't trust you as far as I can throw the thing.
Throw the thing? Everybody's favorite blue-eyed ever-loving thing.
He's an American Horror Story.
One of my favorite things in Toy Fair magazine, when they did their Toy Fair Twisted Mago Theater, was Thing's just trying to watch the game, and Human Torch flies up to the window. He's like, "Thing, hurry! Dr. Doom has this. We gotta go right now." He's like, "Sorry, bub, I'm watching the game." "But Thing, flame off!" And like his flame goes off, he just drops.
It's like the clapper.
I love that one. I love Neil betrays Scott. I know, it's cool that Scott, at least he doesn't sell out for money. Like, his love for Ramona is greater than his quest for money.
There's no greater quest than love itself.
This is true, but money helps.
Yes.
Let's not be that foolish. Oh, the twin dragon design on the bus back there for the Katayanagi twins. The Katayanagi twins in the comic, they show up to Scott at a party, and it's the first time he meets them. They actually have a robot that Scott has to fight. And all the other characters are talking, and you can still hear Scott fighting the robot in the background. It's totally hilarious. Because they're from Japan, so of course they have robots.
With G-Man's upside-down triangle with all the G's, if you count it, there's 5 triangles.
Huh.
Even though he's number 7.
There's probably some one that we forgot to carry or something.
I'm just looking for it at this point. There's the big 0 on Scott again.
Yeah, that circle works for it. I said lesbians. I'm in lesbians with you, yeah. Where he's beating his head against the pole right here. I've done that many a time.
So many times.
Yeah. I'm not the only one.
Yeah. You don't even know why you're doing it. It just feels right.
I do it out of boredom. I'm like, fudge. What am I doing?
Especially after something I've said to a girl. Like, crap. Oh, it's sad because he goes back to the places where he went with Ramona on that first date, you know? I mean, he really is heartbroken here. But I love what she tells him about, next time you don't go out with the girl with 11 evil exes. 7. Oh, that's not that bad. And when she walks away and she's talking about, I know, it's so pathetic. You know, it's someone calling to ask, how's Scott?
Yeah.
Gotta keep up appearances. You're the older sister, you know?
I guess Pitch Perfect 2 is coming out soon.
Yeah, it was fun. It's funny. I was hearing Anna Kendrick on Seth Meyers, and they're like, and Seth is like, "So I hear the Green Bay Packers were in it." She's like, "You wouldn't even believe. Like the defensive players, they came in, they knew their routine, like back and forth, like in and out, hit every mark, like." They only needed like one take to do this entire dance, and they just had an entirely fun time doing it. But she was so impressed that like the Packers came in and just like blew it out of water.
Packers! That guy looks like Seth MacFarlane in the background.
Yeah, he
Wallace
does.
has been sleeping with.
Just like with a different haircut.
Yeah, well, even the same one.
Yeah.
Totally looks like. I wonder if it was. I mean, I can't imagine it really was, but.
Well, I can imagine if it was though.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. So it's like I remember he pops up in an episode of Gilmore Girls that I was watching with my girlfriend. I'm like, That's Seth MacFarlane.
I was watching
That
the Gilmore
sentence was
Girls.
only acceptable because you were watching it with your girlfriend.
Thank you. Well, I thought I better add that in there.
I've been watching Gilmore Girls without my wife, and it's actually a really good show.
It's not too bad.
It's not.
I still get the theme song stuck in my head every now and then.
I'll tell you what, the reason I started watching Gilmore Girls was because of Lee George Cade. He was actually talking about it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I was just watching the Gilmore Girls, and you wouldn't believe all the special appearances that you see on that show from different people."
It's hard not to kind of get into it. I hate to admit it. Oh, but the things that the girls, the titular Gilmore Girls themselves do, piss me off so bad. They always make horrible decisions and bad relationship choices. And you're like, come on!
It's like a typical woman. They always make bad relationship choices, such as going for the asshole.
And we just lost our female audience. It's a stereotype that's there for a reason, I need to say. But I'm a little biased from bad past experience, so... Yeah. What a perfect asshole. But then you realize he's actually just listening in on the conversation. I love this Rambo scene that just stops dead with the shoe tie. Takes forever.
That's a typical man thing, because all women are like, why do men have to stop and sit down or kneel down to tie their shoes?
Because we can't just put them on like
lean over.
pumps. No, I tie my shoes very specifically so I can just slide them on and off. I love the passwords here. Password, whatever. Cool. And the next password is even better when he walks up to these two guys. Second password. Alright, you're good. Cool. The passwords are whatever and
the second time around is so much better too.
Yeah, where he just eats his way through. This guy right here, the first album is much better than the first album. But later on, the guy who has knowledge of all people and everyone, he said, he makes a comment, he's like, the comic is actually better than the movie.
Yeah.
Self-referencing this movie.
They just stop their set.
I know, right? Like, nobody really cares or notices.
You saw this coming.
Man, what a jerk, sitting on top of a huge pyramid in the middle of his own theater.
Oh, let's not toot our own horn there, G-Man.
Ooh, he knocks over that zero.
I'm not the zero.
Actually, maybe that really is symbolic of him, breaking through the stigma that he's created for himself.
Let's see what type of shirt he has on.
It's a green one.
Is he still wearing the 4.5?
No, that was a blue one.
It was blue.
Fantastic Four blue, even though they're all white and black nowadays.
Come
Come on, show his logo. Maybe it's supposed to symbolize that now she has green hair and he has a green shirt, so they're kind of almost together. Yeah, I don't know. It's like
it's a heart.
Oh, it's a heart.
Showing
it says
his
SP
love.
on it.
Scott Pilgrim loves you. I'm not the zero anymore. I'm in love, and I'm Scott Pilgrim.
You know, he really does have a terrible haircut in this movie.
He really does. It fits, but it's so terrible.
That little hop, I don't know why he does that hop. It accentuates the moment, but he does it again the second time Scott comes through. So I love how there's the power of love, but one thing that this movie taught me is that you have to have that power of self-respect.
Yeah,
before you have love. Yeah, love will follow that, you know? Sex, blah, blah. We're here to sell out and make money and stuff. The outfits they're wearing, too, almost make them look like they're sort of servants that have sold out to Gideon. This is a cool fight where he just starts slashing his way through these guys. I always thought in my own head that all these guys were probably equal to any of the 7 evil X's as far as fighting skills, but now that he's got that power sword, he's able to just bust his way through all of them.
Well, if you look at the points,
they are.
It's
The
some
amount
of
of
them are
change coming out
200,
of them.
400, yeah.
Right.
Especially once he gets his
2,000,
combo multiplier
4,000,
going.
yeah.
That's true, yeah, he's getting the chain combo going, so it keeps multiplying. 200, 400.
Combo!
Dude, awesome! Kind of pulls the Devil May Cry critique there. This really is cool when he jumps right at the right moment, knocks Scott down.
He's got the high ground. Have you learned nothing from the 3rd Star Wars movie?
Man.
Come on, Anakin.
Don't be starting on
You
that.
were the one, Scott Pilgrim!
One day we're gonna get to the movie, the Star Wars prequels, and I'll tell you my whole idea of what would have made the prequels perfect.
More Jar Jar!
How did you know?
I love movies!
He's a Jar Jar Binks.
I love in our game how we kind of ditched that one guy on the guns.
Yeah.
Partly because we hate him and to torture him and stuff,
It's like you can deal with their broken English. It's all you, buddy.
That's what you get for betraying us. Inside joke. But anyway, Knives right here.
That's priceless.
I like how Knives actually joins the fight and gets a moment here at the end to kind of redeem herself or learn something and come full circle with her relationship with Scott, because she's as much of a main character in this whole mess as Scott or Ramona,
Yeah.
And really, I mean, for the tragedy that she is in this movie, I mean, she really comes together in the end and becomes probably the most well-rounded person by the end,
Definitely.
She kind of is smarter and better than everyone else. She's just young and naive, so. But their whole fight is really cool right here. Their fist fight. Well, I love the kicks in this show. I don't know how they do this. It must be that Wo Ping team. They're just so good at doing this stuff. I love how Ramona uses that giant chalice or whatever it is in lieu of a hammer.
Yeah.
You can tell it's like her signature moves.
It's almost like a short coat rack. Like, what is it supposed to be?
Oh, well, it was sitting next to Gideon's chair, so it's like a giant
so the
fancy ashtray or bowl or something.
The four things are actually the base of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
The goblet top is the part.
I think in the comic it talks about who taught Ramona how to fight with a hammer and stuff and teach her that style, and I wish I could remember who.
Thor.
Yeah, sure. Well, if she can go through subspace
Gimli?
and other dimensions, she can hit the 9 realms, I'm sure, right?
Is that his name, Gimli?
In Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Yeah, and my ox. Okay.
And my bow.
Have
Shut
my
up.
bow. Okay,
And
so
boy, hairy feet.
so the last Hobbit movie just came out. And like Legolas is always talking like this, Gimli, come toss your hair in front of the camera, it's fun. And in Lord of the Rings, he talks like that. But in by the time you get to the Battle of Five Armies in The Hobbit, he's trying to talk like Batman. Like seriously, watch it. He's totally pulling a Christian Bale.
I'm Legolas.
Yeah.
Let me use my Elfarang.
So Scott dies because he didn't learn anything, and because he was screwing up with the girls, and because he admitted that he was being a cheater. I mean, he falls flat on his face.
Yep.
He realizes he's a horrible person. So he dies, but because he had scored so many high points and tried to do so much good before, and setting Ramona free, he gets his second chance, right? So,
Right, you got the extra life. The one up.
exactly. He gets what most of us don't get. That second chance. The thing with the chip in the back of her head is way more explained in the comics about how Gideon has that control over her. And also Gideon's like super way more evil in the old in the comics, because he has like, it shows that he has 7 X's of his own that he holds in these like crystal things like at the top of the Chaos Theater, and they're all in suspended animation and everything like that. Mm-hmm. So he's like even more evil in the comics than he is in this movie. And
He's basically the collector.
kind of, yeah, of girlfriends, of exes.
What a weirdie.
But like Ramona's the only one who left
right
him.
back
So.
there.
Yeah. But yeah, the whole thing with the computer chip is if you want to know more about that, just go read the comics. It's totally cool. The comics really do,
Justice.
they're able to take their time with a lot more of these concepts, and they get more fleshed out. It's a great read.
That is evil.
Do you think maybe he's just like overcompensating because he doesn't want to come out of the closet for the sheer fact that his emblem is an upside down triangle? I have to collect all these women to prove I'm a man.
Dude, it's probably just time for you to admit to yourself who you really are.
It's fine.
That's
just
all
date
right.
Scott's roommate. It'll be okay.
Oh yeah, what if Wallace had gone up against Gideon? The fight would have been over in 2 seconds.
It's like, let's go back to my place.
Well, I mean,
Game over.
that's why Obi-Wan or, Yoda can't go take on the Emperor by that point. It has to be Luke, right?
Yeah.
So, there he gets the chance to use his extra life.
Redo!
The video game was really cool. Like, it looks just like that extra life thing that comes out. And the animation in it, the sprite animation is amazingly cool.
Your hair looks stupid.
That's how he defeats him. Your hair looks stupid.
Just beats him down.
I love how he goes down, like he's going down to hell.
The comic book is better than the movie.
Yeah. They kind of give the fast-forwarded version of his fight with the multiple guys. The multiple enemies.
Known as Neil.
Oh, Mallory, I never noticed you got that Bender shirt on from Futurama.
Let's get drunk.
Let's get drunk! Bender's back, baby! I can never do a good Bender.
Plus 350.
Love how he just wants to take out Gideon for the sheer fact that Gideon's such a douche and such a dick.
Yep, he's like, I'm done.
It's not even about Ramona
Jumped out
anymore.
again.
It's just about how horrible Gideon is, and he needs to be stopped. Self-respect.
Respect.
You can definitely hear Bill Hader in
Self-respect.
Yeah.
More important than love.
that
It
now.
is. Your love won't be healthy if you don't have self-respect. That's, I think, the great lesson of this movie, the great moral. Ben just beats through these guys super fast. I think all the moves are the same too. I love the coins too, how they're like in the shape of guys.
Yeah.
The body outline.
Right. But this time he beats Gideon and knocks him on his butt.
That sword was stronger than the one for love as well. It
Yeah,
was like a plus 8, plus 6, plus
The
7.
stats.
Instead of
yeah.
threes
It said-
and twos.
It said balls plus 8. So he gets 7,000, but soon we'll see, in classic video game fashion, we'll see Gideon's true form and his real weapon of choice.
Bum, bum, bum. This fat
Yeah.
ass Herbie.
He says right here, your ass isn't fat. Yeah, it's cool that he just comes clean. He's just like, you know what, look, I'm a jerk. I'm really sorry about it. He even says to Kim, and Kim finally, you can see that hate, that baggage go out of her eyes, and she actually
Yeah.
smiles for the first time in the whole movie.
And he gets the plus 350 for it.
Yeah, just a little bonus. And the chip just finally busted on Ramona.
Hello.
This whole thing with gum. Made me swallow my gum.
Ah! That won't digest for 5 years.
This is cool how he like creates his sword Voltron
Excellent.
style. And I love the distortion, the pixely look of everything.
Yeah.
And his fighting style is so great, where he has one hand behind his back even. It's like kind of Count Dooku-y.
Yeah. Just like, what? I know I'm bad.
Yeah, and look how flowy he is with it. Like, it's seriously awesome. And it's very Soul Calibur with the
I was thinking
trace
the
on the
same
swords.
thing.
Yeah.
Soul Calibur all the way.
But it's great that it takes all three of them. You know,
Two
Scott's little
clear
love
ones.
triangle with these two girls. You know, they all have to work together.
There's the X.
The
again.
X in his glasses, yeah. But also, when anybody starts like hurting, when they've lost enough hit points or whatever, they also start flashing like an old school video game boss. That's always the secret to taking down guys, though, in,
Just
in
like
those old
Scott
video
right there.
games, is ganking them on either side.
Uh-huh.
You just get you and your buddy on either side of the guy, and then you can usually get a lot of damage in.
Go,
How
Scott,
come
go!
Ramona's not fighting yet? I kind of forget. Nice. Gets him on the face. Oh no, but he still broke his sword. I forgot about this. Yeah, so Scott's flashing red, and that's how you know that he's on his last legs. Oh yeah, but here, that's right, Ramona gets this great line in right here. Where he's like, yeah, you're still my girl. And she says, as he's flashing red and about to die, let's both be girls, and kicks him in the balls. I love how she uses her scarf as a weapon, too.
Bad!
See, yeah, when he kicks the girls.
Bad.
Kind of like the ninja dance game that they do.
But now she's really flashing red. But now it's cool because it shows that these guys really do work well in tandem. I mean, Scott and Knives actually would be a cool couple. But, you know,
they're
Knives...
more colleagues and cohorts. And
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, they find out that they are just better as friends, you know?
They
Which
do
I think
have
it's
some-
important for all of us to learn the difference on, like, we could date, but it just doesn't work out that well, so we should, you know...
Just be friends.
Yeah. I love the
And
the
not as a
bar-
bad thing either, you know.
It's really not, you know? I think you gotta evaluate your relationship from time to time and figure that out. But
Perfect!
it's great how she sets him up for the final attack here. You know, and the fact that he's, like, you know, glitching and stuff.
To the point where he's almost dead because you can tell, like, see through him that he's not even there.
Yeah, it makes him, like, that much more of a supernatural demon or something, you know?
And then, like, his vocal patterns, like, skip as well with the...
They get all digitized
Pixelation,
and
yeah.
distorted. And there's that thing where he spreads his hands out. That took me a whole 2 hours! Right, coming up right here. All their contact different. I love that that's what he's bothered about.
Uh-huh.
Getting their contact information took, like, forever for him. And he spits out change as he coughs because, you know, he's about to die. Yeah, he tells him he's zero. I'm what's hip. I'm what's happening. I'm blowing up right now.
Yeah, you are.
Kind of walked into that one, didn't he? Bam!
Head explodes. Glasses go flying.
Big, massive KO.
And then it just rains.
7 billion. It really does feel that satisfying when you accomplish something like that or finally get back at someone who's been a dick to you.
Now he's got to go back and find the little secret passage where you jump up and just run to the end stage.
Mario style.
What you don't know, boys and girls, is called making it hell.
Making it hell when you're dropping the change on him.
As opposed to making it rain, like with dollar bills.
Yeah.
Yeah, hail hurts a lot more.
Yes.
There goes our deal.
No one appreciates hell.
And their lead singer really does suffer from greed.
Oh yeah.
Kim shoots herself in the head. I do that at work all the time when things like that. Oh, and it's true. Like Ramona, she's ready to give up on Scott. As much as she appreciates him for setting her free and teaching her so much, she really is ready to let him go. I think that's Canadian money, if I'm not mistaken. I think I noticed that for the first time. I mean, it makes obvious sense, but I'm actually just kind of seeing it.
Isn't it still euros or whatnot?
No, they've got their own thing. But so Nega Scott. So this is like the end of Zelda 2: Adventure of Link, when you have to fight the shadowy version of yourself, the evil version. And the fact is, no, this is something I must do alone.
They started doing it in Super Smash Brothers games also, where you had to go against
Ocarina
the
of
evil
Time.
metals version of
Oh
yourself.
yeah, well yeah, and Ocarina of Time, of course, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that Scott just reconciles, the demons within, and kind of accepts himself for who he is, and he's just that again shows the self-respect that he has now in his own confidence. And the fact that he's just oh no, he's actually a really nice guy. We're gonna go do brunch next week, he's cool with who he is. He's come to terms with things.
It's no big deal.
Yeah, exactly. We actually have a lot in common.
Everybody's got a dark side.
Your hair is getting shaggy. His hat's instantly on. Well, see, they're cute with each other, but it also shows Knives' maturity that she lets him go too. That she tells him to go to Ramona. That she sees at this point, Scott and I aren't made for each other. They clearly have something.
Yeah.
I've got some growing up to do or whatever, or some other things. Scott and Ramona should go give this a shot. I know on the special features it shows the alternate endings where originally it was Knives and Scott. But after filming it and making it that way, they decided that Scott had kind of earned Ramona, and it was so much the point of the movie that they sort of decided to go that direction too.
It's he fought this way, we may as well just keep it like this.
Right. And the comic book, this whole chunk, the whole last third of the movie, completely different from the comic book, and the stuff that happens in it is super cool, maybe even more epic than the movie. Mm-hmm. But like I say, go read it and check it out. But I love the movie. I love how all this comes together and comes full circle and the way they tie it all together. Mm-hmm. I mean, most movies, I think nowadays, companies, because of what Marvel's doing and everyone, they probably try to pull a trilogy out of this.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm glad they don't. I mean, it's just a nice, tight, single movie, just one quick 2-hour ride.
All the X's, all done.
Yeah.
One budget, just finish it and make a good movie.
I think the author has come out and said that the reason why he made two of them twins is because he got sick of trying to make up so many. Well, these guys are just the same. That's kind of hot and sexy. They're twins.
We can do that. Why not?
I can make that happen. I like how she realizes it too. I'm too cool for you anyway. She knows what Wallace saw all along.
Chow Knives.
Yeah, that's a great juxtaposition. Chow Knives. I think the snow is still melting before Ramona, even as she walks away. Oh, she's crying. Look, she was tore up about it.
Along?
But she's so happy that he comes back and wants to go with her. It's sweet.
She's just
man.
nah. I'm gonna move on.
That's what would happen in my life.
I need to go find the lead singer of a death metal band now. Sorry.
Like Danny Filth of Cradle of Filth.
Yeah.
That's what he sounds like. Sorry. Sounds like a ring wraith.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, he always actually has 3 different things that he sings. He sounds like a ring wraith. He sounds like darkness from from Legend Father. And then he also sounds like. Then he also exactly. And he also says he also sounds like Cartman from South Park all the time. My cheesy purse. You should check out Cradle of Filth. The guy sings those same 3 different ways.
And there you have it.
Yeah, that's Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and it's one of those, like you and I were saying before, Josh, before we started this tonight, that if we were trapped on a desert island somewhere with a mysterious source of power and only 5 movies that we had for the rest of our lives, this would be up there.
Yeah, vegan powers and, Scott Pilgrim versus the world.
It's about that time of night. No, don't restart.
There we go.
I guess we better wrap this up because apparently my computer needs to do a software update in 15 minutes.
Something like that.
Oh, we got that timed pretty good, huh?
I'd say. Just
Almost.
in time. Time for 9:30 and possibly some relaxation with my lady.
Yeah, Will's about to kick us out with his vegan powers, so we better wrap this up and say, please check out MatthewArt.com, my brother's website. Super cool. Fresh Eatery.
Frisch Compassionate Eatery, 145 South or East, 1300 South, Suite 201. Drop in, see Lee. He's part of the Geek Show. He'll talk your ear off about all the things nerdy.
And go see Dave and Maya and Harley and all those guys at Dr. Volt's Comic Connection, which is up there on 3300 South and
2196 East.
2196 East in Salt Lake City. And listen to the Geek Show podcast. It's totally cool. We're hoping to maybe have a special guest from there one of these days. And also, anything you want to say, Josh?
No, it was fun having. Thank you guys.
Come join us anytime. We'd love to have you every time. Really.
Go to the Big Shiny Geek Show pub quiz Wednesdays at Lucky 13. They start at 8 o'clock. Bring a team and get your nerd on. It's not just for comic books and lovers of nerdy things. It goes all the way from sports nerds to classic TV sitcom nerds to who knows. There was one question that involved American Idol. So bring your A game and bring a nice bit of money to get drunk and have some fun.
And like Scott Pilgrim has taught us, please enjoy and support your 8 and 16-bit video games and the old school Sprite way of doing things. And also just make sure that you find that self-respect first before you fall in love. But I think with that, guys, we can wrap it up. And thanks again for watching another episode of Will and Mike Explain the Movieverse. And
Until
Josh
next
and Mallory
time.
and the girls for joining us. And until next time, bangerang, and may the
Bangerang.
Schwartz be with
May
you.
the Schwartz be with you.
All right, peace out, y'all.